The Return of the Books to be Read Pile, Part 2. Hi, I'm Gary Levee, and a while ago, back in episode number 255, I did a video on the books to be read pile, piles of books a pile of books that I want to read, that I really like.
Piles.
And I have a couple of piles of them, so I think that I will continue with some of the books that I've put on the side because I really want to read them. They look interesting, and maybe just take a look at them. I think every book reader and collector has a book to be read pile, if not more than one. The first one is The Night of the Triffids by Simon Clarke. This is a British paperback. And it's a sequel to John Wyndham's The Day of the Triffids. And I just think it's the John Wyndham book is a classic science fiction horror book. It was made into a movie, and this just kind of looks interesting and fun, and just wonder how the author Simon Clarke has done this one. He's a science fiction writer. I forgot Simon Clarke is a pseudonym, but I forgot what the real name was. Author I really admire in the historical field is Adrian Goldsworthy, and he has written a lot of excellent books on Rome, Caesar, Augustus, ancient Rome, and also these two books about the Napoleonic Wars, The Soldier Gentleman, and Beat the Drum Slowly. So these are two Goldsworthy books that he's always very good to read. The Suicide Exhibition by Justin Richards is a kind of a weird World War II fighting the Nazis with H.P. Lovecraft and UFOs and science fiction, alternate history science fiction novel. I like it because it's got the UFO thing and it's got the Lovecraftian connection, which I think should be fun or interesting. Sometimes these books don't work out good. Sometimes they do. So it's you never know. The next one is Pulp Noir by Audrey Parente. Audrey is along with Rich Harvey, is the power behind Bold Venture Press and Pulp Adventure Con that they hold in New Jersey and Florida every year. Great book show for pulp and paperback fans. And this is a story it's got a Maguire cover, and it's her story of how they kind of a story of how they met and their relationship with pulp adventure and pulp fiction, and I think it's kind of a cool story. I've had it on the pile for a while, and I've always wanted to read it, and I'm going to read it pretty soon. I think it's a really cool book. Lee's Maverick General by Hal Bridges is a story of one of the generals in the Civil War. I like Civil War history. Daniel Harvey Hill. D.H. Hill was a kind of a idiosyncratic kind of general in World War II. I mean, not World War II, in the Civil War, and he was a kind of a genius actually, and interesting the battles that he fought in. Flag on the Levee by Manly Wade Wellman. I didn't know that this is kind of a juvenile book, and it's actually signed by Manly Wade Wellman. And this was a gift by my lovely young wife, Lucille, who can always find interesting items. And this is a juvenile about the, I think it's the War of I think the War of 1812. And Manly Wade Wellman is a terrific author. He's written so many great books. So to find something like this, a juvenile about the War of 1812, should be really interesting. Black Flags, Blue Waters, The Epic History of America's Most Notorious Pirates by Eric J. Dolan. This is stories about true pirates, Blackbeard and Captain Kidd and other pirates that roamed the waters off of America in the 16 and 1700s. And some interesting things went on in those days where piracy on the high seas in colonial America. City of the Lost is a book that looks really interesting. I have no idea what it's about, but it's a science fiction book. It's by Stephen Blackmore. It's guy's obviously been shot, but he's still alive. So it's maybe a kind of a zombie.
It's a little more than shot.
He's got a hole through him. I don't know what kind of gun would do that damage.
Like a cannon.
A shotgun up close or a 357 Magnum. But yeah, he's definitely. But I don't think he's feeling any pain. So there's something more going on here. But this looks like a cool science fiction book in the tradition of maybe like a crime noir thing, which I like. And I'm going to move these over and take out a few more here. Kolchak, The Night Stalker, A Black and Evil Truth by C.J. Henderson. And C.J. was a friend of mine, and we did a lot of stuff together, a lot of books and stories and things. He wrote for Hardboiled. He's a tremendously talented writer. And this is Kolchak, The Night Stalker, which was a TV series. I believe Darren McGavin played the part of. It was a horror night.
It was great.
Horror series. Yeah, it was a great series. And this is an original novel written by C.J. Henderson. So if you liked this book, and if you like this character and TV show, the guy to write a book on it that really would be great would be C.J. Henderson. So this is that book. So I'm looking forward to reading that. Another friend of mine, Jay Gertzman, has written Pulp, according to David Goodis. Jay is a retired professor and fan of everything Goodis and Hardboiled and noir. He's written for Paperback Parade. He's written some great articles and books on himself, but this is, I think, one of his best. It's a story about David Goodis and Pulp, and this is really a fascinating book. Unholy Dying by R.T. Campbell is a book I don't know too much about, but the author I've read some other books by this author, small trade paperbacks like this size of his work, and they're really, really good. So this is another one that I found, and I put it on the pile because I says, like, he's really good, and I want to read this one that I hadn't read yet. Next is Harry Dickinson, The American Sherlock Holmes. Dixon, The American Sherlock Holmes and the Heir of Dracula. And this is an American Sherlock Holmes it's adapted by Jean-Marc and Randy Lofficier. This was based on Sherlock Holmes and is very popular over the, I guess in the 1920s or earlier. And this is one of the books of, I think that this, I'm not sure if these are, yeah, these are, so you can see. These are the magazines, the Harry Dixon magazines that were published in probably in the 1900 or 1910 or 20. And so this book collects those stories, and they're basically Sherlock Holmes in everything but name, and they're reputed to be very, very good. And I have not read this. Of course, I haven't read any of these books that I'm talking about, but there are books that I think are really, really interesting and that I do want to read, and I will eventually get to them. Borrowed Money by Jim Eridan is a hard-boiled crime novel, which looks really good. Every once in a while I pick out a hard-boiled crime novel. Another one is, this was sent to me a while back, Internal Affairs by Connie Dial. This is a bound galley and dust jacket. That should be really good. An Angel in the Street by Peter Genovese. This is a Ramble House book. Should be a really intense, hard-boiled crime novel. Should be really cool. There's the author on the back. These are all books that, for one reason or another, because they're hard-boiled, because they're crime, they're science fiction, mysterious, that deal with pirates or Lovecraft or who knows what, are books that I find interest in and that I would like to read. Oh for the Life of an Author's Wife, and this is by Elizabeth Charlier Brown, with an introduction by Jack Seabrook, who's written some articles for Paperback Parade, which is my magazine on collectible paperbacks, on Frederick Brown. And this is a book by Frederick Brown's widow about the great author Frederick Brown, who wrote amazing science fiction and crime novels, and was a master of short stories. And the two of the last ones are really I gotta get to these. I've read all the Flashman books by George MacDonald Fraser, and I love them. They are terrific. If you know anything about Fraser's writing or the Flashman books, you know that they're a sheer delight. Historical fiction with historical accuracy and great fun. Not politically correct, but you know, that would destroy the joy and the interest of the books and the truth of them. So the thing is here is that Robert Brightwell has continued kind of the story of Flashman, but this is Flashman's father. So this is earlier. Flashman's father, who in the books is a taciturn, miserable, grouchy old man, but this is him when he was young. So the Thomas Flashman, and it's Flashman and the Cobra. That's the one, and then the other one is Flashman and the Seawolf. So these are books I definitely want to read. So I just hope you enjoy this look at books that I have never read, but I hope to read someday soon. They're on the part 2 of the books to be read piles, actually, because there's more than there's a couple of more actually. But yeah, I like books and I like reading, and I don't read as much as I used to, but I do read a lot, and there's so many of this stuff that I want to read. I mean, I just love it, and really cool stuff. So I just hope you like this look, and if you did, give us a thumbs up, share this video with friends, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.